How do you feel?
Great. Healthy. Rested. I don't know. Me personally?
Well, you too, yeah. But no, about the team and getting ready, the prospects of starting on Friday.
We're excited. I mean, every day's been a steady we've had steady progress every day with this team. I thought a lot of good things in the exhibition game, things that we're continuing to improve in, and so I think it's prepared us well, to this point, and I think we'll be ready for Friday.
Scott, how have you kind of seen the front court rotation kind of start to shake out, trying to replace the loss of Marie and her, big impact in both points and rebounds, and then just as a leader?
Well, I think it's going to be like replacing anyone, any year. I mean, it's going to be collective, and so obviously a huge hole in the middle in lots of ways. I mean, leadership as well, let alone rebounds and blocked shots and points, and kick out passes, all the things that she did so well for us last year. And so I think this team will have a different look. I think it will be a little more guard oriented. Will need to be. That's where our experience is on this team. And the rotation, I think it's going to be dependent on the game. We started Joe the other day. We probably will again this weekend. But Janessa's doing great things. Trisha's doing great things. Maddie obviously showed a similar maturity level as Janessa. I mean, both of them are really stepping up for us in every way. We used Katie at the 4 a little bit, and certainly you've got, Taya, who played every minute of the NCAA tournament pretty much at that spot last year. And so, a lot of different options there. And so I think it's going to be game by game and just a work in progress, as we go. But I've seen steady improvement with all of them, and excited.
Particularly in Joe, what kind of improvement has she shown from last year, kind of on the outside looking into rotation to now we're potentially starting games to start the season?
Well, a completely different condition, first off. I mean, she's really worked hard. She has a different level of confidence. A year ago, she was so overwhelmed, it felt, by everything, just living here, getting just to school, this pace of play, the physicality, and trying to stay with Marie every day. That's a lot to overcome for someone in their first year, and she has high expectations of herself, so also had the pressure of that she loaded onto herself. A year ago when we coached Joe, it was almost like you wondered if she was hearing you because she was so overwhelmed, and this year, completely different. I mean, she's looking at you, trying to get every word from you, and then you're seeing it applied to the game once she learns. And so been really pleased with her progress, and I think again it's going to be one of those things where it's just step by step with her, as anyone that's getting significant time really for the first time.
You talk about that. I think her and Jazz were here quite a bit by themselves at times, and I saw them working out at Reese or running and stuff. How much did having both those guys kind of here on their own kind of push each other to kind of continue to grow and get better that way?
Yeah, I thought that was really key, and it was almost accidental. I mean, they had the freedom to go home if they wanted, but flying to Poland, flying to Australia, they just chose to stay here for that. It was approximately 3 weeks. They were just together. They were the only 2 in town. And it was cool. I mean, Jazz has a way of bringing out your best, and she really challenged Joe, and I think it was good for both of them socially. And they did work, and they worked out every day. They were running, the Reeser steps, and I don't know. I thought that was a really key stretch, and it kind of maybe confirmed to Joe that she was on the right track because, she was able to hang with Jazz and they had a great time working out. And so Joe's been instigating all these workouts on her own, very similar to what Marie did a year ago. And so, when you have a model like that in front of you, you want to learn from it. Some people don't. We all see good examples. Sometimes we don't choose to follow. Joe has proven that she's choosing to follow Marie's example in a lot of ways, and which is a great sign for her.
Coach, what are some expectations that you have coming into this season, just off the top of your head?
Well, that question, I say the same thing every year because you cannot predict success. Who knows, how many games we'll win? I have no clue. Of course, we want to be a tournament team. Everybody will tell you that. But this team needs to reach its potential. A year ago, we played our best basketball in March. That's my goal again this year, is to develop great leadership within it. I think we have that. We certainly have the capability of that. And then just to be a tight-knit group that gets better every day, to where everybody's at their best, at the end. And so that's what I base my opinion of success on. And so if that happens, we're playing our best in the end, we've been successful.
You created some great challenges with your scheduling, and you've always done that. It's not a surprise this year. You like that philosophy and challenging yourself. You're up there with those teams now. Before it might have been, wow, look at who we're playing, but now they're probably saying the same thing.
I hope so. Yeah, you know, I think each team, each year, you need to cater your schedule to what you need. A year ago, we had so much new. Everything was new last year. We knew that we needed some challenges to find out where we were. That's why we had Notre Dame and the trip to Duke on our schedule. We also needed confidence, and we needed to grow into the year. You never know if you can win, but we schedule games that, you know, we better win these games, and we thought we could, and we did. This year, this team has a little bit different level of experience throughout it. The guards all have experience now. Certainly Destiny's new to us, Jazz is new, but the core of the guards are here. 4 returning starters, you know, replacing Marie, of course, but we wanted to throw them to the wolves a little bit. We need to find out what we're capable of. You know, you got to play the RPI game at some level. I think we've scheduled well in that way as well to give us great opportunities, and that's what you want. And so this preseason will absolutely prepare us, you know, well for our conference, which is number 1.
So on that, was it your team, your coaches that put together the lineup in Vancouver, or that was just an organization and you joined it? Yeah,
it's a company that puts together tournaments. We went to Vegas with them a couple years ago, and they told us, hey, we're doing a tournament up, you know, in Vancouver. We didn't know exactly who all was going to be there. They would give you an idea, hey, we've got so and so coming, That's exciting. Yeah, we're in. You know, and so anyway.
And it turns out 3 of the top 8.
How about that? Yeah, how about that? And if you look at the entire thing, I mean, Western Kentucky's obviously a tournament team last year. Gonzaga and Drake are phenomenal teams, and so you look at the entire lineup up in Vancouver. It's I mean, has there been a better preseason tournament? I don't know. It's phenomenal.
The leadership on this team, are there any voices speaking up that are a surprise to you?
Well, it's a good question. I can't say I'm surprised. You know, Maddie and Janessa have the 2 voices in the gym that you'll hear all the time, you know, very vocal. You won't hear Joe very much, of course, but everybody has their moments. You know, the team voted Katie and Mick captains last spring, and that has remained. And so then you've got 2 that have played the most minutes of anybody else in those 2. And so you look to them and you just, everything they say is gold, and so they have everybody's ear. And then you've got Destiny and Aaliyah, you know, 2 point guards that are absolute leaders on the floor and leaders off the court. I mean, they're people that think the game and communicate very well. So the true leadership within the team emerges as you go, in my opinion. And so once we get into these battles, you know, our backs are against the wall on a timeout maybe. It'll be interesting to see exactly where that comes from. But I don't think there's any way to predict that before. I just know that we're more than capable of filling that role like we have been in the past. And so this team is full of amazing young women, you know, that are very confident with very high goals. And I should say Kat Tudor too. I mean, Kat's as competitive as anybody I've ever coached, you know, and her voice is getting louder and louder now that she's a veteran. And so that's my favorite part of the journey, because I believe that those lessons right there, when people step into those roles, is really, that's what you carry on more than anything else in life, you know, from here. And so I can't wait to watch that happen this year.